experts are now forecasting an increased chance for a recession in 2025. Tariffs and both federal and private sector layoffs are driving the souring economic outlook. And even the president is refusing to rule out the possibility of a recession this year. Steve's in the ARC Lounge this morning with financial planner Clint Coburn from the Retirement Solution.
Clint, it's nice to have you in this morning. First time on the show.
That's
and I
right.
know that you and I were just chatting about how this is not really a fun topic to talk about. It's not very positive, but it's important, and especially when trying to help people prepare for the possibility of something like a recession. So let's first talk about why there is all this worry about a recession. What's playing into what we're seeing right now?
Yeah, it's a great point. So, I mean, there's several lead indicators usually, right? But I mean, really good one of those, I like to tell clients right now, when the president mentions it, that it's usually a pretty good indicator as well, too. Hey, this could be a possibility.
Yeah.
I usually tell people, we know we're going to get one. The real question is when, right? And right now, yeah, there are some things that are happening out there that make us a little bit concerned and thinking, okay, yes, this is something that we could see happening potentially before the end of this year.
Okay.
A recession is usually defined as 2 quarters of negative growth in the economy. What does that really mean?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, things are slowing down, right? Spending cuts down. We'll see unemployment rates jump usually. So it's usually kind of like the economy goes into the mud puddle, right? And we're kind of like slowly kind of get out of that mud and get back up onto the road where we can really cruise.
Okay.
Right.
And do you ever really know, like, how long, if one does happen, do you ever really know how long you're going to remain in that recession if one does actually take place?
A really great question. And no, not really.
Okay.
I mean, we could point to historical events. We could look at here's what, how it's worked in the past or what we've seen before. But yeah, there's really not, even when it comes to predicting one, like we said at the beginning, there's not a whole lot out there. I'll probably have my own show, or I'd get calls from really rich people if I could tell you, hey, here's exactly when something's going to happen.
That'd be great.
Right? It'd be amazing.
Yeah.
So more important than that is, well, what things can we do, like you mentioned to me too, to make sure that we're prepared for one?
Yeah, because I think a lot of people think about, okay, when you're in a recession, that might impact, the cost that you pay for certain things, the job market, that sort of thing. What other impacts could we see from this if we actually go into one?
Sure, yeah, that's a great question. I mean, like I said, it really goes back to spending. So you see consumer and business spending really cut down, which, like we said, has a knock-on effect, right? And so you're going to see slowdowns across the board. So on a personal level, for you or me, if we're looking at how does this impact us, yeah, potentially higher prices, and maybe, for some people, less money to be able to do something with. So how do we combat that, or how do we prepare for that situation? Well, there are a couple of key things that we could look at doing.
Okay.
And I'll give a couple here today for anybody of any age range. A first one would be, make sure that you have some emergency savings, or some money that's liquid, that's safe, that you can draw on if there's a need to do so.
I would imagine if you haven't started that process of saving, now is a good time, and it doesn't have to be a lot.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Yeah, what we don't want to do right now is panic and change everything, right? That's never going to help anything. We want to make small shifts. That's usually the key to weathering something like this out. So at our firm, we recommend between 3 to 6 months, and that's pretty standard across the board for emergency savings or money that you can draw on. Okay, so that's a really big first one. Another really great one is debt. We all love hearing recession and debt, right? Here we go.
Yes.
We're really getting into tough territory, but people worry a lot about holding debt. I'm not so worried about my clients holding debt. What I am worried about is what type of debt are they holding? And by that, I mean, what is the rate that you're paying on that debt? So when we talk about things like credit cards, man, we all know those rates are astronomical, right? 18, 20%. I don't want people holding credit card debt, especially with a recession potentially looming. But at any point in time, it would be nice not to have that.
And I'm thinking about my situation with like an auto loan, for example. That's another thing that you have to worry about with debt too.
Yeah, but again, I'm less worried about that, or especially mortgages. I have so many clients that'll come in, or people that talk to me, they go, oh, what about this mortgage? It's hanging over me. And again, for me, I just look at the math, right? What do the numbers tell us? Well, did you buy or refinance a couple years ago and you got like a 3% rate?
Good rate.
I'm not that worried about that.
Okay.
The 18, 20%, if your car loan's like 9%, which I doubt it is, that might be a worry. But yeah, if it's lower, that's not really a problem. So we're really just weighing the pros and cons of what does it mean for us to have this versus what would it mean if we paid that off.
And I think another one to pass along too is that feeling of like panic. You know, like if we're going into a recession, which, you know, we've heard stories about that happening before. And as you talk about the impact that this is going to have on people, a lot of people start to worry and make very quick decisions too. But certainly they can reach out to somebody like yourself for the retirement solution to kind of calm those fears a little bit. Big like, you have time.
Yes.
You have time.
Absolutely. Yes. And the plan, you mentioned that earlier when we were talking, plan helps with that. Oh my goodness, it changes everything because now you don't have to worry because you have a plan in place that says, okay, here's how this works. Here's what I'm prepared for. That's why when we talked earlier, my job is not to predict when a recession is going to happen. My job is to help my clients plan for when it does happen, regardless of if it's this year, 3 years, 5 years down the road. We want to be in a spot where we're ready for that to happen. And there's a lot of things that go into that, like we said, proper diversification. We could talk a lot about that. But you're right. We don't want to make a panic decision right now. And the good news is, like you said, we've looked back and we've said, okay, what about 2008? What about COVID? You can see, yes, we've been through this before and we're here now. So it's okay. We're going to come out of this. It's going to be all right. My job is to make sure that people can do that with the least amount of grief possible and with the least amount of change in their personal lives, right? And the plan is everything.
I've sort of heard it described as like a roller coaster ride. There's going to be those portions where you're kind of down here a little bit, but it will always go back up at some point. The question is how long is it going to take to get back up to that high or good point that we are with the economy. So
yeah, you're totally right.
You have some time and don't panic is the key here. So and certainly if you have questions about your financial situation, Clint would be a great guy to work out to. We've had your colleague Adam Powell on many times before.
Adam's great too. Yeah, so I work out of the Mill Creek office. Adam's in our Redmond office, and we give evaluation meetings. So if you're worried about this stuff, if you have questions, our website, theretirementsolution.com. Go in, you can make an appointment and get some answers at the very least and say, okay, here's where I'm at.
Perfect. Clint, thank you so much. And we'll ride the wave and see how it goes and hopefully come out on the good front, right?
That's what we want to do. Steve, thank you so much. Plan is key with this.
Yes, it is.
All right. Thank you both.